Hey folks, Irene Lyon here. Welcome to this video, to this channel, and to this entire world of healing trauma, nervous system health, and all things neuroplasticity. I'm going to give you a bit of an origin story today, and the reason why is in celebration of the 2021 enrollment for Smart Body, Smart Mind. If you don't know what this is my 12-week nervous system rewire online group program. It's a mouthful. I want to talk about what this program is, why I developed it, and what it's doing with folks who have gone through, my alumni. This year in 2021 will be the 10th time we have run this transformative, potent, powerful online group program. We started back in 2006, and it's something that we run once a year. When we started out at the beginning, it was twice a year, and we've dropped it to one just because that is plenty for people to work with over the course of a year. And I'm going to go into why I created this. And so if you don't know anything about me, I will encourage you to check out my credentials and my site and just get to know where I've come from. I'm not going to go into that full story. But when I was in private practice around 6 years ago, 5 years ago-ish, and I have been in private practice since about 2004, and before that I was in exercise science and working in fitness and nutrition and sports rehab. When I was in private practice, I was working with people at the somatic experiencing, somatic practice level. So working with people who were coming to me with all sorts of troubles with their health, their digestion, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, recovering from injuries, from accidents and car accidents, things that were not getting better with what we would call traditional physical therapy, massage therapy, chiropractic work, even psychotherapy, and even really good mind, body, spiritual work. So they were kind of at not the end, but at a crossroads, not knowing what they were doing wrong. Many of these people had cleaned up their diets, all that. And so I was working with those folks, helping them learn and re-regulate and work with stored traumas, stored traumatic stress. And what I would find myself doing with most of my clients who were fresh to this work is I would be, and I'm going to take my pen and paper here, I would start drawing graphs of how the nervous system works and explaining what the sympathetic nervous system is and the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve and how that works and how we get trapped in high arousal, which puts us into freeze. And then when we're in freeze for a lifetime, that breeds chronic illnesses. I was teaching them about attachment trauma and just the need for really solid co-regulation when we're infants, all that stuff. And so I would spend a portion of our hour together teaching them education. And while that was really important, it really wasn't cost effective for them to come and see me and spend this hour where they're paying their hard-earned money, because I'm not covered by insurance, to have this education. And so I started to take that knowledge and put them into PowerPoint presentations. I started to write articles. I started to have workshops in my little studio at the time, and we would jam in 30 people, 40 people in there, and I would give a presentation, often 3 hours long, on the nervous system and how it works and how we get trapped in this predicament. I was also starting to create audio lessons. So I would record guided, I call them now neurosensory exercises, teaching them how to reorient to the here and now, how to bring connection to the body, how to notice their breath and not change breath. All these things started to get created, and over time I realized this makes sense to put this into a program, to put this into a course online. Of course, the online world was just starting to bubble up back then. I mean, right now it's just given that we would learn online and do a program online, but back then it was very new. Many of my colleagues didn't think it would work, to the point of saying, there's no way that you can do that, it's not going to work. And here we are in 2021, into our 10th session of Smart Body, Smart Mind, and it's working. It's really working. And so back to that story. So I was creating these homework assignments, if you will, and people would do them. And then slowly I started to realize this is a big need. I still believe in private work. I get my own work from time to time. So one-on-one work is very important. However, we need this other piece. We need to learn the language. We need to become apprentices, masters of our physiology. And we do need the deep science. We need to understand the theory. And the reason why, my friends, is because we have this higher brain as humans that will overanalyze everything. Or it will feel something that is super scary and it'll say, don't go there, that's dangerous. When really sometimes we need to go into, in a tiptoe titrated way, bit by bit, bite-sized piece way, we need to go into the things that are uncomfortable, because that was the stuff that got stored in our system way back when we didn't have the emotional maturity or the support or the knowledge to work with these things. Of course, when we're babies and when we're infants and when we're in utero, this is not a thing because we're just feeling everything. So, created Smart Body, Smart Mind. We also call it SBSM for short. And so far, we've had people in over 90 countries, 90 countries go through it, all walks of life, from young and 20s all the way to clients, or I should say students who are in their 80s. We have folks who are mothers, who are teachers, who are healthcare providers, folks who are bedbound, people who have been homeless have gone through this, living in their cars. So much diversity in those who come in. And so the question that often is asked, because I get this question a lot, Irene, will this help with this? Irene, will this help with that? With this chronic illness, with this mental disorder, with this chronic pain? Will it help me as a practitioner, et cetera, et cetera? And my overarching answer is typically yes, because we all have a nervous system. We all have a somatic system. Most of us have not been taught and trained at the deep level to be able to go internally into our viscera, into our what we would call interoception, and work with it. We don't understand why certain sensations come up. And it's very important for me to give this information to you and to teach my students as much as I can so that they can become their own medicine. So I won't go into every single detail about what the program offers, but here's a quick list. We start this year on March 8th with Orientation Week. This first week is to get settled, get to know how our program site works. All the information is on a website, so when you join and you become a member, you get access to that. You have a username, a password, and as we go through the 12 weeks, we drip feed the content. We drip feed the learning in what I call labs, or a module. And so each week there's a new module. So out of the 12 weeks, there are 10 modules, because we have 2 weeks where we have a bit of a pause, a catch up, a rest week. We need to integrate. Within each module, with each lab, there are 4 lessons. These lessons are either theory or audio neurosensory exercises. Most of the lessons are practical. They are me guiding you through learning how to reorient to the here and now, how to contain and improve our ability to feel our body while still staying contained. We work deeply with the stress organs, is how I call them, the gut, the brainstem, the kidneys, the adrenals, the heart space, all of the elements that make up our viscera and are what puts us into sensation and then informs our emotions. So we get into all of these spaces and places in the body. It isn't just mind-based. It isn't a meditation. It is a deep dive into reacquainting yourself and reconnecting with this physical body. Because here's the thing, when we've had trauma and adversity and we've been put into a situation that is terrifying, scary, and we can't do anything about it, we shut down this body. We stop feeling it because it's too scary to feel. And so part of this work as an adult is to consciously work with this body to start to open it up, to start to grow capacity, to have solid foundations so we can feel the scary things that have been trapped inside for some of us decades, and for some of us since before we were born, because we now know that transgenerational, intergenerational trauma is a real thing, and we carry that stuff with us. So we go through as a group for 12 weeks. It is me teaching live. We call them training calls, Zoom calls. We have live Q&As with myself and one of my team members. We have not a forum so much, but within the program site, you have questions, we answer them, and basically you run through this as a group together, supporting each other. Now, the one thing that always is asked is, but what if I can't complete all the lessons? But what if I have a system that's very, very sensitive and can only take in so much? That is okay. We ask people to go at their own pace. And this might be one of the hardest things to grok, to understand, and to commit to. And it itself, learning how to go at your own pace, learning how to follow your own impulse, knowing when to say no, when to set a boundary, and when to go back in, that in itself is rewiring the nervous system. And so when you go through this content and this program and this experience, which is Smart Body, Smart Mind, with that as sort of the guiding light, the guiding principle, cool things start to happen. We start to literally rearrange how we interact with the world, how we interact with ourselves, how we interact with our kind of conditioned mind that tells us we have to push and we have to get a straight A on the test and the teacher will be mad if we don't complete the work. It isn't like that. And then further to that, when you become a member, the content, the program is yours for life, for as long as we run this program. So when we do this again next year and the next year, you will be invited to come back free of charge and re-participate with us and the new members. Throughout the year, when we're not in live session, you still have access to the program content, to our public forum, which is on, not public, but it's a Facebook group where you can interact with your peers. And so there is still this element of community. There's still this element of connecting with the work. Obviously, you have to be a self-starter just a little bit, right? You've got to be able to show up during the time that we're in and do the work, even if it's just little bits, and show up for yourself and learn and heal and just get into this essential learning, practical work and education. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to go into every single nook and cranny. There is more. There are some bonuses. We have extra resources. There are video trainings that I haven't talked about, but I will let you peruse that for yourself. Somewhere near this video will be a link to the Smart Body, Smart Mind registration page. I encourage you to take at least 5 minutes, if not more, reading through that page, look at the program syllabus, read and watch some of the SBSM alumni's success stories, their shares of all the things that they have learned and discovered and healed by going through this process, this program. This is really, let's just say, the creme de la creme of online programs when it comes to working and healing trauma at this nervous system level. And I will say one more thing. When you go into this work with me in this group setting, online with your peers and my support team, and there is a support team that answers questions throughout this, not just 12 weeks, but we add on another 4 weeks when we end. We are not asking you what your traumatic experiences are. There is no point in time ever where we say, tell us all the bad things that happened to you, list all the things that have occurred to you. We don't do that. And the reason why is because we're working with the physiology. We're working with the here and now, your somatic senses, and how you interact with the environment. We're growing capacity, we're growing foundation, we're growing intelligence at this nervous system level. And so with that, we're all equal. We're all going in this together with a desire to become our own medicine, to heal, to connect, to support, to learn, to grow, to evolve, etc., etc. So without going for too much longer, thank you for listening. Again, today I'm posting this video on the 22nd of February, 2021. We open up official registration for you, and check it out. We have registration open till the 7th of March, end of day Pacific time. And then, like I said, we start on the 8th with orientation week. And then the following week, we start with lab 1, lesson 1. This is the only time we run it in 2021, as I mentioned at the beginning. So if you know you want to do this work with me and you want to go to this level of really becoming a master of your system, of your physiology, now is the time to learn about this program, get into this program, and just let nature do its thing. Let your body heal in the way that it wants to heal. We are all part of nature. We are nature. And when we can treat ourselves and really respect this physiology of ours, really cool things happen. All right, everyone, thank you so much for listening to this video and learning more about SBSM. I will be doing a series of Q&A calls over the next 2 weeks. So on my website, there is a little notice under live events that tells you the times, the dates, and how to attend them. I will be doing a special call for those who are in the healing, helping mind-body professions. This course is not to make you certified to do what I do. This is for you as a personal discovery, personal immersion to help your system become more robust, more resilient, and more regulated. So if you are a healer, a helper, a mind-body pro, know that many of our students are in that boat. They go into this program to improve their own system, and in doing that, it immediately reflects in how they work with their clients, their students, and their groups. All right, I'm really gonna sign off for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.